I'm Fíochmhar. I play drums and vocals in Artach.
Hey, my name's Sruthán. I play the guitars and the bass in Artach. And we play epic, melodic, thrashy black metal. The band's name is Artach. It's not an English word, it comes from Gaelic. It means Arctic. And we thought it was a suiting descriptive name for the sound of the style of black metal we play, because we are, of course, from northern Canada, very close to the Arctic, so we thought it was a fitting name.
Sworn to Avenge is our second album, and we wanted to make it the most definitive Artach album we could possibly make. We wanted to really diversify our style, do some things we haven't done, but still keep it heavy and evil at the same time.
I think it's also better than our first album. We've progressed, as was said. Some of the songs are similar in structure, but we also went off the deep end a little bit. We have a song on there that's over 20 minutes long, which was challenging to record and has a lot of different parts. So I think it's something interesting for a lot of people into black metal and extreme kinds of music. Okay, one of the songs, the first one that a lot of people may have heard, is the first single, which is called Into the Frozen Woodlands. That song is, of course, loosely based on the story from the book and movie of the title Into the Wild. It's about a guy who, I guess, gets really sick of society and decides he has enough, and he wanders off into the forest. And, of course, he's ill-prepared, and it doesn't end too well for the guy, but we still feel some of those feelings ourselves about how society is shit, and we'd like to get away from it. So that's kind of some of the themes in Into the Frozen Woodlands.
She Gathers Leaves is a track that we wrote around October and Halloween. It's a track that has many themes of the occult and mysticism, and it shows a bit of our more gothic metal influences, I think. Bands like Cradle of Filth, Dimmu Borgir, bands that I've been a fan of for years, so we kind of pay tribute to them, I believe, a little bit with this song, She Gathers Leaves.
A lot of the lyrics on the album share a lot of similar themes about nature, man's relationship to nature, the unfortunate subjugation of nature that man has done against nature. We're very big, I wouldn't call us environmentalists, but we feel that the natural world is something that we're a part of and not conquerors of. So there's a lot of songs and themes that kind of express some of those emotions.
The album cover artwork is something we discovered, and I felt it really reflected the new era of Artach, which we are in now with our music. We wanted it to represent winter and that process of winter melting into spring and the change in nature. It's something that we felt was reflected in the artwork.
The artwork was, of course, if you look at the credits, is done by Jerome Commentail. He's a concept artist and illustrator that does a lot of really cool art, and when we saw some of the things he's done, especially the figure that's on the cover, it kind of represented our image as well, even though it's not us, of course, on the cover. It really spoke to us as something that, if we would have dreamt it up ourselves, we probably would have come up with something similar. So it was really cool, and I think it was worth getting the artwork set up from him.
Our album's coming out on Depressive Illusion Records. They're a label from the Ukraine. They have a lot of awesome underground black metal bands on their label.
And our cooperation with that label is that they are releasing the Sworn to Avenge on CD and on cassette, and they're even making a few patches. It's a very limited run, so if it's something you want to own a physical product of, then they're the people to check it out with and get it quick, because it will sell out hopefully. And it's also going to be available digitally through our Bandcamp and the regular streaming services. So that's our relationship with them. They're very easy to work with, very helpful, answer their messages really quickly, and seems like a great starting point for a lot of black metal bands.
I think having a label representing you as a band is important. It helps spread your music to a different audience. People kind of take you more seriously when you have your album on a label. It definitely helps with getting the physical product into people's hands.
Yeah, definitely. When we had our first album, Eternal Black Winter, released, we had it released independently first, and there wasn't a whole ton of interest. But then when Depressive released it, there was a big bump in people checking out our page and new likes on our page because they released the album, our first one, and now they're releasing our second one. So definitely it's cool to have a label behind you, because people look at the band as something a little more serious than independent releases. It's not always the case, but we found it worked for us really well with them. Yeah, I'm a big fan of heavy music, black metal and other styles of metal. And in terms of newer things that I've been listening to from black metal, the previous release from Wada called Jinn, that was a really cool album. The last MGLA album was pretty awesome. From not black metal, I guess the newest release from the power metal band, Frozen Crown, has really caught my ear. They're really cool. Lots of technical guitar playing and great vocals. So depending on what you're into, there's something from many genres of metal that has caught my ear. But I'll leave it at that for the newest ones that I've been listening to.
So COVID-19 has definitely affected the music industry, but it hasn't really affected us as much as where we don't play live, so it definitely affected us in getting together to record some of our music, but overall it hasn't really affected us as a band.
Yeah, I feel bad for some of the touring bands who make all their money from being on the road. It's really affected them, and it's affected venues and sound crew and touring road crew. There's a lot of people that have felt a lot of hardship from this, but there is a way out, and the way out is believing in science and not in bullshit. So get your vaccines, and let's hope that we can get back to something normal by the end of this year and get to see a lot more live shows.
So there are a few local bands from our scene that have represented black metal. There's Winter Hearth, which is a favorite of ours.
A band that has gotten a lot of notoriety over the past 10 or 20 years that a lot of people heard of is the Doom, Stoner, Sabbath vibe band called Chevy. They're not as active as they always were, but a lot of people like them, and they're apparently working on some new stuff, so they're really cool. And there's basically bands from every style of music, from alternative to black metal, death metal. It's not a huge scene. A lot of people in the scene, of course, know each other. We're all on an island here, so it's limited in terms of places to play and touring, and not many bands come here, but it's strong for what it is and for the numbers of people involved.
So we have a new video that's coming out soon for a track off the album. And overall, I would say the future plans for Artach are to continue making music and continue growing as a band, as musicians.
Yep, and hopefully a lot of people get to check out the new album. We've been doing a lot of interviews and press lately, so maybe the word will get out. And thanks to you guys for taking the time to talk to us about our music and our band. And we're going to continue forging onwards and writing more epic fucking metal.
Thanks a lot, guys. Stay metal.